Recent days have witnessed heightened chaos within the conflict in Gaza, marked by tumultuous battles. Signs of confusion are emerging among the occupation forces, evident in their disorganized incursions and frequent erroneous strikes on targets. Conversely, the Gaza resistance forces seem more coordinated in their pursuit of freedom. They meticulously document their operations, focusing solely on targeting enemy tanks and military equipment. Our commitment involves daily efforts to disseminate news often overlooked by mainstream media. Please support us by liking and sharing this update to broaden awareness. Hit the subscribe button for the latest developments on Palestine's enduring struggle. Today, the occupation authority in Tel Aviv acknowledged a significant cause for concern, citing purported operational setbacks becoming increasingly prevalent in Gaza. Confirmed reports surfaced stating that occupation troops mistakenly identified 3 Israeli detainees in northern Gaza's Shajaya neighborhood as a threat and subsequently fired at them, resulting in their loss. The affected detainees are Yotam Haim, arrested by Palestinian resistance from Kibbutz Kfar Aza, Samar Fuad Talalka from Nir Am, and Alon Shamriz, also from Kfar Aza. This incident transpired in a Gaza neighborhood embroiled in some of the fiercest recent confrontations. Political leaders swiftly expressed their dismay at the incident, but emphasized that the occupation forces would assimilate lessons learned and continue their offensive. Concurrently, family members of the detainees escalated calls for a new ceasefire, hoping for a potential agreement leading to the release of their loved ones. Shajaya in northern Gaza has long served as a vital stronghold for the Palestinian resistance, housing some of its most skilled forces and robust defenses. The area where the detainees lost their lives was near the site of a fierce battle on Wednesday, where 9 soldiers, including 2 senior commanders, were neutralized. The occupation military asserts that the Palestinian resistance's Shajaya battalion's command and control have suffered disruptions, leading to a perception of less organized operations with smaller squads. However, this claim remains unverifiable independently. OMT News believes that the occupation's failure to identify detainees in a complex situation portrays a force in disarray.
الله أكبر لعزة الإسلام والمسلمين يا رب.
There are comparable unverified videos shedding light on the guerrilla nature of the conflict in Gaza. This situation necessitates a more comprehensive approach to resolving the Palestinian problem, rather than solely relying on further confrontations and bombings. It is projected that if occupation forces persist at their current pace, they risk international isolation and the potential ignition of a broader war in the Middle East. Recent clashes have underscored that the Palestinian resistance is resilient. Despite the ongoing media narrative propagated by occupation forces attempting to portray the surrender of resistance forces, global observers are discerning the truth. They continue to overlook the apparent manipulation aimed at projecting a semblance of victory by the harsh occupation in Gaza. However, it has been analyzed that diplomacy remains the sole solution to the crisis in Gaza. The unilateral pursuit of victory against the opposition in Palestine will only perpetuate the cycle of violence and might even escalate conflicts, considering the active military presence of Yemen and Lebanese resistance. Today, an audio statement was released by Abu Obaida, the spokesperson for the Palestinian Freedom Movement. In the statement, it was confirmed that resistance members had reportedly destroyed 100 Israeli military vehicles within the past 5 days. Abu Obaida cautioned the occupation army about an impending defeat, commended Palestinians for their resistance efforts, and pledged to inflict even greater damage on the invading occupation forces. The statement highlighted that 70 days had elapsed since the start of the Al-Aqsa flood battle, with the populace persistently engaged in the conflict, facing what was described as an unprecedentedly brutal crisis in modern times. Reports mentioned brave fighters combating a heavily armed force supported by planes, warships, and armored vehicles. This force operated under the auspices of oppressive and aggressive forces, purportedly under the leadership of the American administration, which was suggested to be providing substantial support to this entity, treating it akin to a conflict against a major world power. According to the statement, over the last 5 days, resistance members targeted more than 100 military vehicles in various affected areas, including Jabalia, Al-Shuja'iyah, Sheikh Radwan, Al-Zaytun, the central region, and Khan Yunis in the southern Gaza Strip. During the same period, the resistance members reportedly carried out numerous precise ambushes against the enemy's infantry forces in Jabalia, Sheikh Radwan, central Al-Shuja'iyah, and Khan Yunis. In a related development, a recent statement obtained by OMT News, the Palestinian Journalists Syndicate, PJS, vehemently criticized the annual report released by Reporters Without Borders, asserting its complicity with the occupation and its purported daily brutal acts against Palestinian journalists across Palestinian territories, particularly amid the ongoing aggression on Gaza. The PJS reaffirmed the accuracy and credibility of its statistics, underlining their basis in professional and legal documentation, adhering to the highest standards for documenting crimes against journalists. It adamantly stated that journalists martyred in home bombings during relentless Israeli raids and airstrikes were allegedly deliberately targeted due to their profession, refuting the report's suggestion that these deaths were accidental. Emphasizing that all attacks against journalists are deliberate and allegedly authorized by the occupation government, the syndicate argued that Reporters Without Borders report aims to gloss over the occupation's responsibility for the loss of Palestinian journalists, shielding it from international accountability. The syndicate reiterated its call for Reporters Without Borders to abandon its bias towards the occupation, urging the organization to prioritize professionalism and accuracy in its reports. It accused the organization of compromising its credibility and neutrality by favoring the occupation over journalistic principles. PJS pledged to pursue legal actions guaranteed under international and national laws to hold accountable those who justify Israeli brutality against Palestinian journalists. Support our efforts by liking and sharing this content. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button to stay updated on the latest developments in Palestine. Until our next update, peace.